What would you do if I asked you for $280,000? Set that money right here, pour gasoline on it, and then set it on fire. I'm guessing you probably wouldn't be very happy, would you? Well, that's what the average American does. The average American over their lifetime will spend $280,000 in interest payments, according to Money Magazine. My name is Jay Mathewson, and I'm here today to walk you through a three-step process for budgeting that will help you to avoid lighting $280,000 on fire over the course of your lifetime. The three steps of the budgeting process are actually pretty simple. The first step is baselining, which I'll explain in just a moment. The second step is going through and actually making adjustments to your budget and creating an actual paper budget that you commit yourself to. The third step is tracking your finances and actually following through on your commitments and validating that you're now spending your money the way that you want to spend your money. So let me ask you this. How much money did you spend on food last month? Well, the average American has no idea how much money they spent on food or really any other category last month or any other month. But the average American spends 11% of their income on food, which makes it the second highest spending category next to only your rent or your house payment. But again, most people don't know where they spent their money. 61% of adults, as a matter of fact, don't have a budget and don't track how they spend their money, according to Business Insider. So based on that, based on there being 6 people in this room, at least 3 or 4, maybe even 5 of you may not even have any idea where you're spending your money. So let's talk about the budgeting process, and let's understand where we spend our money so that we can spend it the way we want to spend it. Again, the first step in this process is baselining. And all baselining really is understanding where you spend your money. So what I recommend for this is create a spreadsheet or even just write down on a sheet of paper the different categories that you want to budget. So maybe you want to budget dining out, groceries, entertainment, gas, your cable bill, your phone bill. Where are you spending your money based on all those different categories? Then over the course of the month, just collect receipts. Remember to ask for a receipt. Remember when you pay at the pump to hit that receipt button. And at the end of every day, write down how much money you spent on each spending category. And then at the end of the month, add up each of those columns. And now you'll know, based on that month, where did you spend your money. Most Americans have what we would call an unbalanced budget. And all that means is they're spending more money than they're making. According to the Investor Education Foundation, 60% of Americans spend more money than they actually make. And you might ask yourself, how can that be? If I don't have money in my pockets to pay for that McDonald's, how am I paying for it? Well, the answer is simple. You probably already know the answer. We borrow money. We take out loans. We put money on credit cards. We continue to pay those credit cards every month, and that's the $280,000 that we're burning. So now that we've actually tracked our money for a month, we've baselined, we understand where we're spending our money, chances are you're not spending 11% of your money on food. But how do you know? Are you spending 15, 20, 25, 30%? And as you can see in this pie chart, if the goal is 11% and I'm spending 25%, that piece of pie doesn't fit in that pie. And what that means is I'm spending more money than I make, and that means I'm probably putting money on credit cards or taking out loans. I'm burning money, just like we talked about earlier. So as part of step 2, now that I know where I'm spending my money, now it's time to actually make adjustments to figure out, at least in my head, how do I want to spend my money going forward. And you can make adjustments to any category. I'm just using food as one example. But if I continue with that example and I take a look at food, how can I cut the amount of money that I spend on food in half next month and going forward? Well, maybe I'm going to dine out less. Maybe I'm eating out 3, 4, 5 times a week and I can cut that down to 1 or 2. Maybe I want to cut coupons. Maybe I shop from the ads, or maybe I just eat more leftovers and don't throw my leftovers in the garbage, for example. And once I make those adjustments, whether it's groceries, gas, or otherwise, and I commit to myself where I want to spend my money, I document that commitment. I actually write down my budget and I say, here's how much money I want to spend in each category going forward, and that's my budget. And as we get into step 3 is the hard step. Tracking our money, asking for receipts, writing down a budget, that's the easy stuff. The hard part is actually making those lifestyle adjustments, right? But what I recommend is after you make those adjustments, or you think you've made those adjustments, continue to do what we did in step 1, which is ask for receipts, write down those amounts, and at the end of the money, see where you spent your money. And does it line up with where you committed to spend your money? Chances are you probably didn't get it right the first time. Most people don't. If I'm going to cut my food bill down from 25% to 11%, I probably don't accomplish that within 1 month. So as I take a look at pre versus post, and I see that I didn't necessarily accomplish my goal, what can I do differently? Well, maybe I can be a little bit more aggressive. Maybe I made kind of a soft commitment to dining out less and I didn't follow through on that, so I'm going to be more aggressive. Maybe those budgeted amounts just aren't realistic. Maybe I don't want to sacrifice the time, going out, eating pizza, drinking beer with my buddies. So are there any other categories that I can focus on? Maybe it's not dining out, but maybe I can spend less money on my cable bill. Maybe I can cut the cord, for example. And now we've completed the process. We've gone through this a few months, we've collected receipts, we've written down the amounts, and now I've mastered it. You don't have to feel like you have to collect receipts and write down these amounts every month for the rest of your life. Practice makes perfect, and once you develop these habits, chances are you'll probably stick with them. You might want to check yourself every once in a while, but you don't have to do this for the rest of your life. But my old boss, Alan LeBrun, used to say, if you can measure it, you can manage it. And that's what this is all about, is measuring it. Measuring where you're spending your money so you can better manage how you're spending your money. But how do I know this? Well, I've got 31 years of experience. I've been doing this myself for 31 years. I've cut my own food bill down by more than 50% just as a result of measuring it and managing it. I've paid not one dime of credit card interest in the last 10 years. I'm not burning $280,000. And how do you know this? Well, because I'm holding a big fat stack of cash. It's evidence that I'm managing my money well by using this process. So let me ask you this. Who do you want to be? The person here that doesn't have any money in their pockets to pay for that McDonald's? Or do you want to be the Monopoly guy running down the street with a big fat stack of cash? The smart money's on number 2. Again, my name is Jay Mathewson. These are budget tips that I've been using myself for the last 31 years that I think you can all benefit from. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to be here and walk through this process with me, and I hope to see you running down the street with a big fat stack of cash. Thank you so much.